What's poppin', everybody? Welcome to our latest episode of Floppy Drop. We are back in our normal homes, houses, whatever you want to call it. We're not in Dallas together. We're not in the bomb Airbnb. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of miss it and wish we were back there. Especially since I'm feeling better and don't have the freaking con crud anymore. Oh, but as always, I've got my main man Drewski here with me, aka Heavy D, aka Dolan. What's up, dude? How are you doing?
Hey, I'm good, man. It's been a long week.
It has been.
Been back to the grind. Uh, yeah, but it's fun to talk about new comics that come out.
Absolutely, man. Had a busy weekend at Dallas Fun Expo. These guys, Drew and Aaron, were selling their books with HH. We had Wes coming into town. I think all of us in the house, except for Max, caught a little bit of the crud. But Max is a little baby and kept hiding in his room, so that's probably why. But I was pissed because like literally day one of the con, I woke up and I felt fine, and then walking in, I was there for like an hour, and then an hour in, like I'm like, son of a bitch, because I knew it was coming. I was like, God, I can't even get one day in without catching this crap. So that sucked, but it was fun regardless. I I had it was honestly it was just nice to see to meet Wes. So
Yeah, for the first time. Yeah,
first time getting to see him in person, and it's always interesting because we've all become such good friends, but we've had multiple conventions to hang out with one another. This is our second time rooming together, and it's I don't know, it's just it's weird but awesome that we went from I guess what almost 5 years of kind of being aware of Wes, maybe 3 to 4 years of recording with him, and finally get to meet him in person. But good time. I had a lot of fun. It went by way too fast as it always does. But yeah. And then I would say outside of the meeting Wes, I think my favorite night may have been our like boys movie night, Sunday night. I had a shit ton of fun doing that.
yeah, that was a blast.
We
It's great sitting with someone who hasn't seen movies like that before, and they get to see them for the first time.
that someone would be Max, who poor little baby Max hasn't seen anything. And God, what all did we watch? We watched Big Trouble in Little China, Tango and Cash, not necessarily all this night, but throughout the week. Vampires. Oh man, what am I missing? Waiting. I feel like Demolition Man.
Yep,
So
there we go.
I was like, I'm missing something. And then we discovered that Prime Video, for whatever reason, has the international version of Demolition Man, not the US version. Because they don't eat at Taco Bell, they eat at Pizza Hut.
Yep, and apparently that's been a thing for a while now. I didn't realize that for like the past 10 years or so.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
I just remember I got a text and was like reading it, and you were like, wait, what? What? Did you what? And I'm like, what? What? I thought something happened. And he's like, what? I think they said Pizza Hut. They're like, Pizza Hut as the dub. It's like a dub voiceover. And you can clearly see them mouthing Taco Bell. So it was great. Funny. We got a ton of stuff to talk about tonight, and we're going to hit the comments to say hello real quick. But before we do, I think we've got something fun planned for tomorrow. Is that right, Drew?
Yes, we do. Yeah, something big, something huge. Yeah, we are launching Unholy Nightmare 2 on Kickstarter tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live on the Thinking Critical channel. So me, Aaron, and a whole slew of guests joining us for this launch.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. We've been kind of counting down to this day for a few weeks now, and Aaron is still taking over Thinking Critical, and it's going to be a party on Wes's channel as he continues his vacation. And then that party is essentially going to carry on into Saturday morning for comics aficionados. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Super excited to get this launched and get that book going, because I know what happens in the book, and I want y'all to read the book. And I know about the backup, and I know what happens in the backup. And I just want everyone to get their hands on it, because there's a lot of new characters. I don't want to give too much away, but there's a lot of new characters introduced in issue 2, and it's a lot of fun. So
yeah,
But other than that, let's turn to the comments real quick. We have the man himself, Kaiser Jose, coming in with "Wish I could be there, but my daughter is graduating high school tonight. I'll catch the replay though." Man, look, I will always say family first. Replays are always here. Don't miss out on family time or personal time when you can come back and watch it. But I hope you'll have a great time. Congrats to your daughter on graduating high school. And yeah, we'll see you soon. And then I will let you know when I get your stuff in the mail, Kaiser, which should be there's should be Saturday. Um, and then he put a shout out to his daughter. Shout out to Nani class of 2025. Those little spring chickens, those babies. We also have Cajun Corey in the house with the evening, sir. And he says he read that Keanu Reeves book. It's just a comic of Keanu talking about his career. It's a decent read. Do you know what book they're talking about, Drew?
No.
I don't either. I have no idea what book we're covering. I saw Keanu Reeves' book and I immediately thought of what's the oh gosh, I can't think of the one that he did that they did with like Kickstarter for the first issue or whatever.
Oh, Berserk?
Yes. That's I immediately thought that, but apparently not that, because that is not about his acting career. So we also have Ezekiel. So Ezekiel, we got to meet in Dallas. He and Val, we got to meet. Great people. Saw him Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Got to have a lot of talk with them, or time talking with them. And I would say part of like what I love about doing this is just meeting people and talking about nerd stuff. So Ezekiel, glad to see you here, brother. Say hello to Val if she's with you, and if she's not, tell her I said hi afterwards. But and yes, I'll have to head back up to that area so we can go eat. But yes, and Ezekiel said he will be tuned in tomorrow for the release as well. So heck yes. We also have MG coming in with Sup Boys. What's up, MG? And I've got Salty Traveling Sea as well coming in. Let me know. Berserk. Since I had my brain fart thinking. I could see the cover and everything. I just couldn't think of the name. But yeah. So Drewski, we've got quite a few books to cover tonight. Since it's June, I feel let me see if I can find it in here because I don't see it on the front page. But I know you didn't read this. I made the mistake of reading this first, and it makes me want to cry. But DC Pride 2025. Oh, Drew, are you sad you didn't read this?
Not exactly.
I don't blame you. Look, I heard it was bad, but that is no surprise. Like, we expect that from these books, right? I didn't expect it to be as bad as it is. So it's got it's multiple stories that they try to bring together for one story. And we kick things off with Tim Sheridan writing Gay Green Lantern, and they're at Stonewall before it closes, and he's with some trans person talking about how things just transition in life, because that's not too on the nose. Anyways, this is by far the best part of this book. Them talking about his memories here when he first came, yada, yada, yada. But as you get going, it just gets so bad. So we then jump into a Vita Ayala story with the Question, and she's there with her girlfriend, not girlfriend, weird thing. There's all this weird shit. If you follow the character, Renee doesn't drink anymore. That's been like a whole thing with her character in the comics. But they're all just pushing her. Apparently, Drew, you can let characters smoke cigarettes, but only if they're gay and in a gay comic book.
Oh, fascinating, and it's the appropriate lighting too.
I know, and we can't let Wolverine smoke, but two lesbians can. But yeah, then you have Kate Kane that ends up coming in, and they're encouraging Renee to drink. Like, it gets, I don't know, just gets really weird. But what makes it even worse is you get down and you end up having a story with well, Connor Hawk. This was pointless. This did absolutely nothing for me. But you get to a point where you have a Midnighter Apollo story. And I was ready to like I'm not gonna say take a gun and do things, but I was close. So yeah, Midnighter and Apollo right here. And it's the gayest okay, you're familiar with Midnighter and Apollo, right? You've read The Authority.
Yes, I am very familiar.
Does this look like something you would see Midnight and Apollo doing? Have a great one at the office, dear. Always do. Have a good day, sweetie. Smoochies.
No, this looks like the exact opposite.
Yeah,
This looks like a joke.
Oh yeah, but hold on, it gets better. He's going through, and then you've got a guy that's like, if we weren't, if there weren't so many pansy ass, I'm assuming that's queers or like that's like you around, and he's like, say that again. And then you've got just such on the nose writing. You queers are ruining this country, and you think you can get away with it just because of the laws. So then you've got the whole your people, because whatever. But wait, it keeps getting better. So they get in an altercation. He can't hit or kill people, and it upsets him. You've got this line here, which is so on the nose. He killed him. The gay agenda in action. And then we keep coming down, and they're having their clannual meeting. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So Drew, did you think it would be this on the nose
No.
for the gay book? No. Like, this is retardation at its finest. Like, if this is how you really see the world and you think it is, then yeah, I don't know what to tell you. Like, that's on you, bro. But yeah. And then I guess to try to make him seem somewhat like Midnighter, he's got him yelling, "Let me kill you." But they all kind of get brought to this pocket universe, and it just continues to get crazy, crazy, crazy. You get Harley Quinn in there. I'm not gonna lie, I skipped these pages because I can't freaking stand Harley Quinn. But this whole book made me want to, I'm potentially Kurt Cobain myself because it's that bad. So, are you sure you don't want to read it, Drew? Like, you can always go pick it up and read it.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain.
I don't know, man. I think it could be worth it. So, yeah, not my favorite at all. Like, at all. So badness there. But let's try to see if we can focus on something that was potentially good. I would say so maybe two big books came out this week from Marvel. Would you agree as far as like debuts?
Oh yes, I agree.
So we have Imperial and The World to Come. Which one do you want to start with?
Let's go with The World to Come. I felt that's the bigger issue.
I fair. I can agree with that. So we have The World to Come. It's part of the new Marvel Knight series. You've got Christopher Priest, Joe Quesada coming back, which honestly, Joe Quesada coming back, pretty big deal. And I will say, I don't think his art is as sharp as it used to be, but it's still not awful.
No, it's not awful. It's serviceable. It's fine.
Yeah. So what were your thoughts overall on this book?
I thought it's jarring at points with the time jumps.
Yes.
Because there's several time jumps, and I'm not gonna lie, like he draws people with a lot of wrinkles, and a lot of the people look the same, unfortunately, and which doesn't help. But and you're really trying to get a grasp of what's going on in this world,
right?
Because it looks like society has fallen at some point.
Yeah, it's I think in general the concept of the story, there's a lot that you're trying to take in and process and figure out what's going on. At the same time, I feel like Christopher Priest writes in a way that he doesn't help that either. Like he's not one to like throw you a bone. He's just gonna do his thing. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. I love a lot of Christopher Priest stuff. And there's some books that I kind of just been meh about. But yeah, you spend a good chunk of this time trying to figure out what's actually happening here. You know what the status quo is, and yes, I do agree with you. There's a lot of wrinkly people, and trying to tell who's who can be quite difficult. Um, but we do get some controversy in this book.
Slight controversy.
Slight controversy. Was it controversial to you, or do you think a certain audience is going to find it controversial?
I think a certain audience.
Gotcha. So, what happens, Drew, that you think might be controversial for a certain audience?
Well, it turns out that a certain mantle held traditionally by a black man, African American, is now.
So, Captain America?
No, not exactly.
Oh, okay.
It's held by happens to be a white man who happens to be is apparently the son of T'Challa.
Oh, Black Panther is a white man. What?
Yeah.
Lies. I don't believe it for 1 second. They would never. Oh, okay. No, they did. They did. Yeah. So I will just say, you read this. Was it yesterday? The day before? I got a text. You text the group with a screenshot of this, and you were like, "Not joking. This is Black Panther." And I was like, "Wait, what? What the fuck?" And then looked into it. And I was like, "Holy shit!" And I think you followed up with Christopher Priest is bold or something like that.
Yeah, he's got some serious balls, and I appreciate that. He's got a great sense of humor, great balls, and it's bold. And hey, good for him.
You know what's interesting too, though, is I will never forget the first time I met Christopher Priest was right as they were launching the New 52, and DC had reached out to him and they wanted him for a book, and they're like, "Hey, you know, we're relaunching the line. We want you for a book." And he just went, "I'm not doing," or he was like, "I'm not doing Cyborg." And they're like, "Oh, well," he's like, "I'm not doing a black character. You want me for a black character? I'm not doing it. I don't want to do a black character." And then he ended up doing Deathstroke. But it was interesting that how adamant he was of like, you have your agenda that you're trying to get me to write for, and I don't want to do it. And I have to wonder if that was kind of a similar take he had here with this. But yeah, I don't really know. Which he's written Black Panther before. He had a pretty seminal run for the character. Would you agree?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Which, sorry for yawn. It's been, like I said, it's been a long day.
Yeah.
But yeah, he had he was one of the co-creators of the Marvel Knights, 20 some odd years ago, 25 years ago, and it's, like you said, seminal run on the Black Panther. Yeah, and hey, good for him. He's drawing attention to the book. That's what you want.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of people talking about it. Some good, some bad. I thought the story itself was honestly, I mean, I'm gonna come back to check it out because I want to see where it goes. But yeah, I will agree with what we said earlier. Not the easiest to kind of figure out with the time jumps and then just the change in the world, I guess, that we're seeing. But interesting stuff. Really bold move, ending it on a bit of a banger here with the reveal. And I think the fall, I don't want to say fallout, but the conversations around this book, I'm curious to see how much they bring people in to read it if they weren't planning on reading it. Because when I come over to League of Comic Geeks and we look at the score, it's got a 3.6. So not great, but not awful in terms of the rating. But it seems like a lot of people are yeah. So like Moonraker says it's a flimsy start. He said, okay, see, this is where I have an issue with Priest, because he does say Priest dialogue is very wonky. I've always felt like Priest dialogue can be wonky, and I think that's why it sometimes is hard to jump on board with his books because he writes a very specific way that you have to kind of find his cadence and get used to it before you start, I think, really jiving with his work. So, but yeah, I'm gonna be curious to see as more people read this and get to that last page what they think about it because I think certain audiences are really gonna be upset. But next, let's move to Imperial. So I think this was supposed to be a big book. Jonathan Hickman's writing. You got Federico Vincentini on the art. Actually, you got a couple artists here. But Marvel didn't really promote this book much at all. Would you agree, or did you see stuff and I just missed it because I'm not a big Marvel guy?
In the one that Hickman did this week,
Yeah,
this is an interesting take. So he's doing a murder mystery, an intergalactic murder mystery.
correct.
And it's an interesting take.
Yeah, you've got a member of the Hulk family has been murdered.
Yes,
and you have Hulk, She-Hulk, and Amadeus Cho kind of wanting to figure it out, and then their paths end up crossing with the likes of like Nova and Star-Lord. And yeah, I'm not gonna say that I didn't like it, but I'm gonna say that I don't really understand why it's existing. Like I'm not like, oh my god, I have to read this. It just seems like it's weird, right?
Yeah, weird, and the art at points is really good, but the art at some points is very muddled,
Yeah.
and it's hard to tell what's going on and who's who.
Yes, I think they had 3 different artists doing pencils for this.
Yeah,
So, but
it was a strange opener to this, and what made it even odder is that Bruce Banner just shows up on the planet with Amadeus Bro, Jennifer Walters, and he just turns into the Hulk, and he's not really hulking out. He's fine. And it's like he's in control of being the Hulk. I just thought it was weird.
yeah, it is. It was a strange start. And again, I finished this and I just wasn't really sure why it existed, which for me is never a great thing, but I guess it was better than what was the last thing Hickman tried to do that everyone thought was going to be great. And ended up being just boring AF. Oh gosh.
There is a lot of talking, and it does drag on at points. It drags on in some bar scenes with Richard Rider, and because they're treating it seriously, but at the same time they're really just taking their time with it, because it's not just one murder, it's several murders that happen. And but to be honest with you, it's like it happens to Scar, and I'm like, I couldn't care less. I couldn't.
Yeah, we cheered.
Yes.
We were excited for that to happen. Yeah, I mean, look, it's not bad, but I don't know. I guess I just keep coming to the idea that it feels out of place, but isn't exciting enough to really catch my attention. And maybe it'll grow and develop, but after the whole I think it was like the magic based book that he did, or the God book.
Yeah, gods.
That's okay. I don't know. I find myself not getting excited with this stuff anymore. I think the last thing I got excited about was when he launched his X-Men run, House of X Powers of 10, and I don't know. I just haven't really been on. I haven't been sold like that since then. So we'll see. Not my favorite. But I guess, would you say out of any of these 3 that we've mentioned so far, I know you didn't read DC Pride, but out of these 2 Marvel books that are coming in, would you say Imperial is drop it in the bag, or would you drop it in the bin?
I don't know. This is it's a coin flip, man. I really don't know.
We'll drop that into this.
I'd buy that for $1.
Yeah.
So maybe if you can get it at a discount, pick it up. If not, maybe trade weight. We'll see what happens. And then we have to kind of look back at Christopher Priest giving us something to think about, talk about what the world's come. Are you dropping that in the bag or in the bin?
The Christopher Priest one? Oh, it's going in the bag.
Oh, heck yeah.
I want that.
As for DC Pride, I'm just gonna say, I don't, I just don't. Don't. Just say no. You know how Dare was like, say no to drugs? Well, my Dare is say no to DC Pride because.
Like, does somebody not know how to flush a toilet after they've had a shit?
What do you mean?
Well, it was fucking one of yous. Disgusting!
We do have a few more Marvel books that I do want to touch on before we move on, but I want to go to the comments to see what people are saying about the books. We do have our favorite Tism buddy Maxfield Von Priestley, the Comic Crusader himself, in the chat with Dallas Boys. Actually, I don't know if that's Dallas Boys the way I said it, or like Dallas Boys, because either would be believable.
Yeah.
And then MG, I'm gonna assume this is about the DC Pride, but he said if I read that, I'd probably need a vacation. Yes, I was texting Max while reading it, and I think Max started reading it today, and he was like, "Wow, this is bad. Like this is way bad." Yes, and he did put that the Susan Micah cover for that book was pretty hot though. The DC Pride one.
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. Was it like a Poison Ivy? Maybe.
Oh, probably. Yeah. See, that to me makes sense. I look. I'm all for good looking covers, but I don't know if I'd say pay. Maybe just download it. Just just download it to your computer. Look at it when you want. But I'd be embarrassed if somebody caught me reading a comic with that art. I've been caught reading books with really bad art, so I can't say too much. And yes, CXLA one, welcome, good to see you, brother. And Harley Quinn definitely needs a hiatus from comic books. Her and Deadpool both. Her, Deadpool, and Gwenpool at this point all need to just go away for 5 years. That would make me very, very happy. And then we got Ezekiel coming in. Zeke coming in with yes, Harley needs to be canceled, and her just have her in cameos. Sure.
Yeah.
Catwoman. Yeah, these last two issues were rough reads. Catwoman is always either really good or really bad. I feel like there's never really an in between. It's either like really kind of firing on all cylinders, or it's like, what are we doing here? So, we've got MG coming in with Black Panther is white, and that's a good thing. I am really curious. I know we kind of touched on this. I am really curious to see what the Fallout conversation is as it gets out there with more people, and I'm curious to see if this gets picked up and discussed by mainstream media at some point, because I would not be surprised. But Ezekiel is agreeing that it's a very bold move. We have Eric Breen coming in with League of Comic Geeks fans are going to be so pissed about White Black Panther that they're boycotting pirate. They're not going to boycott issue 2. They're going to boycott pirating issue 2. Yeah, that sounds pretty accurate. I can totally see that. But I mean, keep in mind, these are the same people that when Black Panther Wakanda Forever was coming out, they're like, white people, you don't go see it on opening weekend. You need to like stand arm in arm protecting those of us black people that want to go see it. So I'm sure they're going to be really upset that they've got a white Black Panther. And then CX put all white men can now enjoy Black Panther. So yeah, I mean this idea that you look, this is going to be a joke, but I will say I understand wanting to see someone like you represented in a heroic form or whatever. But the fact that you can't relate to heroes because they're not your skin color or nationality or heritage or whatever, I think is ridiculous because there's plenty of heroes that aren't my sex or aren't my race or whatever that I love. So, um, and yeah, gods was oof. See, I have trouble remembering so many of these things because I just want to forget they existed. Like out of sight, out of mind. Call it a day. Wham bam, thank you, ma'am. I did want to go to Drew. Did you read Ghost Rider versus Galactus?
No, I did not.
Oh, okay. I don't know how I feel about it. So let me get it pulled up real quick so we can bring it up here. Overall, I would say I did not like it. Sorry, I'm over here having fights with StreamYard today because they're being jerks. Nothing's want to work properly. But on a positive note, best thing about this book is the art. It's got Juan Ferreira on the art. But it's just kind of weird in the fact that the way it starts is you've got Ghost Rider kind of doing his thing, taking people out, and you got the Thing sees him. And maybe look, I will openly admit I'm not the biggest Marvel person and I don't have the biggest knowledge on all the Marvel lore. But if the Thing, and correct me if I'm wrong, Drew, but if the Thing saw Ghost Rider killing people, even though they're bad and deserve it, do you think he would have a little bit of an issue with that? Or do you think it'd be like, oh, that's kind of cool?
I think it depends on his mood. Depends on the day. I don't know.
Gotcha. Because essentially what he does is he sees Ghost Rider doing his thing, and his immediate thought process is, hey, you think you can do that to Galactus? And that's how we get the story going.
Yeah.
It's just like you've got that exchange, and then Galactus. I mean, look, you can see him taking the guy out here. And then you got him. Look, yeah, hang on a sec, Johnny. Listen, and he's basically kind of saying, like, do you think you could take out Galactus with that? And then that ultimately sends us up into space. Where the two go after each other, to me, it just felt stupid and corny, but not even in a fun way. And maybe it's because I'm tired and I've had a crazy week, but I don't know. I was not feeling this book. Yeah. I again love the art. Huge. I see, like, this is why I like Juan Ferreira. This guy can deliver some outstanding art. He's killing on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This book looks great, but the story is just about as meh can get. I mean, unless you think Ghost Rider fighting Galactus is kick-ass and awesome. I mean, in some ways, sure, but it just doesn't feel like the execution's there to deliver the kick-ass and awesome from the writing standpoint. So, yeah, for me, I'm gonna say no on this. Maybe trade weight it and pick it up once it's collected, but on a month-to-month basis, I can't say this is worth reading. Again, great, fantastic freaking art, but outside of that, it's a no-go for me. I thought the writing and story were sloppy and mediocre at best. So, but the other book that I wanted to bring up is Daredevil, which I know you read and you absolutely loved because it was right?
I loved it. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about Daredevil. We have a new-ish character that comes in, and looks like we have some good art and some bad art yet again. Drewski?
Yeah, it's a disappointing issue because the art is so damn good here.
Yeah.
That you have a writer who just can't help himself.
Right. Yeah, it's
Jose
Luis
Suarez.
Yeah.
He kills it. Lights out.
Yeah.
Once again.
Yeah, it's the same guy that we were praising last time. That, like, this looks fantastic. It's really weird shit that we get into later. But my God, does it look good. And I mean, really grotesque, really gross. But I think the thing here is that it just doesn't feel like Daredevil. With a lot of these scenes, it doesn't sound like Matt Murdock's voice. It's Daredevil in visual presentation only, and that's about it. Would you agree with that?
Say that again.
That it doesn't feel like it's Matt Murdock. Like it just feels
No.
like I don't even know how I'd describe it. It just feels like some random generic character. Yeah. I can't really think of the words, but you get the I think this is where the weird exchange is. Maybe it's not. Hold on. First of all, you have this whole weird fungus thing going on, which I already don't really like mushrooms. I don't think you like mushrooms either, right, Drew?
No, I don't. I hate mushrooms.
But yeah, I'm trying to remember what he said. Oh, maybe this is where it got weird. The whole so you infested propertunity. What the hell is propertunity? First of all,
Yes.
with a fungus that's feeding you the tenant's energy. I've known a couple of immortals, bro. I've known a couple of immortals, bro. Living forever is not as fun as you. This see to me. This I don't know. It's not Daredevil. It's not Matt. And then hey, we got Nyla coming in. Who the fuck is Nyla?
That's his girlfriend going back to the 90s. I think Anna Senti was writing her back in the day.
Oh, okay, yeah. Did she have the mushroom poof hair with the sides of her head shaved back then in the 90s as well?
Yes, she did. Yeah, she had a mohawk, I think. Just like that.
Yeah. See, this panel looks like it's a mohawk. This panel does not. It looks like she's wearing a toupee. When you look at this compared to this, it looks like she's got a toupee or wig that's just kind of flopping around and barely stuck by like a single piece of glue that's just moving. But yeah, no, this was a weird issue. I don't fully get the fungus creature person guy demon thing, and it only feels worse as you get to the art when it takes a drop. Because let me get down to that artwork for the last like 5 to 7 pages of the book. So you can see here, this is where like the art changes. We got the decent art, and then you get to the not. Well, first of all, look at his eyeballs there. Like, what the hell is going on? But same thing as last time. You had really good art, and then it just changes, and we got naked mushroom man now. But I don't understand. And then an even more different haircut. She's got like 3 different hairstyles so far in the single issue. I don't understand Marvel, and DC's bad about this too, that they will do books and then have different artists on there, but the art styles are so drastically different that it's just jarring and completely takes you out of the book. And that's what this does for me. Like, it wasn't great to begin with, and then the art for me was so rough that it just made it even worse and made it end on more of a down note. But I'm giving this a drop it in the bin. I don't know about you, Senor.
Yeah, drop it. Yeah, you want to like it, you want to support it, but then he does something like that.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. So with that, we're gonna go ahead and give this a little bit of a.
Yep, that's fair.
Yeah, and look, I'm gonna say that for the Ghost Rider versus Galactus, while I don't think it's a great read, it's almost worth picking it up for Juan Ferreira's art. So if you can look past the not so great writing and just enjoy a fun, I don't even want to say fun. If you can enjoy a somewhat crazy story, but fun in a crazy way with fantastic art, then
I'd buy that for $1.
But yeah, For me, kind of a bit of a rough week so far, if I'm being honest. We've got Yasoy Whack coming in here with who cares if it's Matt Murdock? He can do an MRI on himself. Frank Miller on his cooked. Yeah, I believe I've read those same sentiments from a certain YouTuber who put out a video recently saying that sometimes he might be wrong, but if he's wrong, he's really right. And why can't people understand that he's right when they think he's wrong if he's not wrong because he's right? Drew, you watched that video. I think you had a great time trying to figure out what the hell your boy Zach was saying there. But
yeah, he's just
the dude nuked like 6 months worth of posts from his YouTube channel to kind of take those scars away. So Ezekiel's asking, why have the artist change in the issue? So a lot of times it's one of two reasons. It's a timing thing, meaning that the artist isn't going to be able to complete the work in time, or it could even come down to like just a pay thing. So if they're trying to keep their costs to a certain amount for each issue, they'll hire an artist to do a certain number of pages and then hire a cheaper artist to do a certain number of pages. It's really crappy. I don't agree with it. I mean, I hate it enough as it is that when you have artists finishing out an arc, like by all means, I would love to see an artist do an entire run. But realistically, I know that can't happen. Like artists, they need a break. And back in the day, you'd have an artist like do a good chunk of issues, do like a bit of a run, and then you'd have someone fill in for 2 to 4 issues to let them have a break and catch up and get started. Or the original artists have a break, catch up, and get started. And then you just started running into these things where either artists weren't getting enough time or artists were too slow. Sometimes it's slow. Sometimes for a certain art, you really have to take your time. Sometimes writers are crappy and editors are crappy and they don't give artists the time that they need to complete their issues. So all those things kind of come into play. But typically you can find ways of masking it. You try to get artists that are similar in style, or you have an artist try to mimic your main artist style. That way it's not as noticeable. And you'll try to put it in something like dream sequences or, B scenes involving other characters that aren't your main plot line. That way it feels less noticeable. But now they don't give a crap anymore. These publishers, they don't care. Their thing is just get it out and get it done. Drew, I feel like we've seen this with multiple books of just, especially from the big two, showing they really don't care about the final product. Just get it out and buy it because we're Marvel.
Just consume, put it out.
Consume. To give you an idea, I will never forget at one point when DC, it was back during the New 52, but they had a crossover story going between 2 books. And it was a 4-part story. So they had issue 1 come out, issue 2, and then there was a problem with the artist on issue 3. So it got delayed. Did they delay issue 4? Nope. They released it a month before issue 3. So you got the end of the story before you got the 3rd part of the story. And then they still released the 3rd issue after the 4th issue came out. It's really weird. And then, yes, Drew praises this guy all the time, and mainly because of his work. I don't think we talk about this as much, but Ezekiel love that Space Ghost has Lau on all 12 issues and the annual no breaks. Not only is his work freaking fantastic, but yes, it's rare that you see an artist come in and do 12 issues straight like this without some type of break. And Drew is the one that's always saying, like, we need to get Jeremy Adams and Lau on a Batman book. And I think he's proven that he could handle the workload. So you still hoping that'll happen eventually someday, Drew? Jeremy Adams?
I hope some. It'd be nice.
It would be. It absolutely would be. Alrighty, let's go back so I can see what else came out this week. And see what we have here. I believe you said you tried reading Ultimate Spider-Man Incursion, correct?
Yes, I tried.
I tried. I did not try. I didn't get to that one. What made you back out of that?
Insufferable dialogue. just nonstop dialogue, just involving Miles, and I just don't care about Miles.
Yeah.
I really don't, and he's really not that interesting in this. And honestly, it just the only time they've been able to get him right has been in the films, and here they still get it wrong.
Yeah, we are not surprised by that. I don't know. I didn't have. I haven't had high hopes with pretty much anything that's Ultimates lately because I just feel like none of it is really fantastic. I guess. Maybe the best thing is Ultimates Wolverine, which we'll touch on in a second. But even then, it's just okay to good in my opinion. But I do want to stay on the Spider-Man kick. Did you read The Amazing Spider-Man #5, Drew?
I did.
Oh, didn't you love it? Wasn't it fantastic?
Oh, it was it was something.
Yeah, we're wrapping up the arc. Come on, man. We got our poison sodas. We got Hobgoblin like causing chaos. The art looks fantastic by Pepe Larraz, and I'm sure it's gonna continue. Oh no. The only good thing about this art isn't continuing past this, or this book isn't continuing past this issue. What? So I think it's fair to say we have not enjoyed this book for a number of reasons. While certain things are fine, like I've loved Hobgoblin and his design and kind of how powerful he is, but the story itself, Peter kind of being this angsty teen in the flashbacks, this whole really weird shit with Itsy Bitsy, all this stuff isn't really working for me. And the one thing that is potentially a saving grace for me here is the art by Pepe Larraz. And starting next month, we're going back to John Romita Jr. That's terrifying. Look, I want to be very clear. I have a ton of respect for JRJR. I think he's a legend for a reason. But his better days are definitely behind him. And I say that with love. Like, I feel like we should let our legends work as long as they can, but maybe give them covers. Do not put them on your top monthly book.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Josh, I'll be right back. Give me 1 second.
Okay. Yep. No worries. Yeah. So this does come to a conclusion. That's enough of a wrap up to serve as the first arc. This will be the first arc. And get released as the trade. And I don't know. Like I overall, I just don't like the way they're taking Peter and treating Peter here. And it just feels weird. All of this feels out of character and wrong in some ways. I miss the Peter that we used to have. I miss the Peter that we're just like 100% rooting for, that we feel like we can connect with. That guy that feels like he could be our friend. And this whole like angsty, weird thing that we're getting is just strange. But yeah. So I'm curious if you guys are reading it. Are you on board with The Amazing Spider-Man? Because one of our favorite YouTubers, Rockin' Robbie, says this is a must-read book. He says that the Amazing Spider-Man in this new run is something you definitely have to pick up, and I'm not sure I agree with that. So, if you did read this, let me know what your thoughts are, or if you're reading and you backed out, let me know if, when, why, what the reasoning was there. So. I didn't look at this earlier, but I do want to go back while Drewski is stepping away, because I'm curious to see if we go to League of Comic Geeks. I really want to know what people are saying about. Oh, you're back. Never mind. He's back.
I'm back.
I will go. Drew, did you get to read the Space Ghost Annual?
Oh no, I didn't.
I didn't either. I forgot all about that shit. This is the rough thing of covering books a day after they come out, is especially lately there's been a lot of stuff. I missed it, but I saw it here and I was like, oh shit, that did come out. Dang it. I will say I'm not gonna pull this up because it's not worth it, but I did read the Adam Project because it wrapped up, and it's a big nothing burger. So for me, I was like, I don't really know why we did this, and I want to read some good Oh God, I can't talk Captain Adam stuff, but it just does not. This was not it. It's not worth it. Is there anything else you did read, Drew?
Let's see here. Let me.
Ultimate Wolverine. Did you read Ultimate Wolverine?
I did. It was fine.
Okay, so I will agree with you. I will say that I've been liking the book. I think it's probably one of the better Ultimate books overall. However, we're 5 issues in, 6 issues in. I'm trying to pull it up real quick. Hold on.
Sounds
and
like we'll be wrapping up the show early tonight.
I know, right? We're like 5 to 6 issues in, 6 issues in. And as much as I like the concept, I'm also at the point where I'm looking at it going, 6 issues, I'm enjoying it. I really like a lot of what they're setting up and doing here. However, I feel like we should have had something super major happen to kind of wrap up the arc, and we really don't. I mean, the end of this issue, I think, shows a lot of promise for what's to come. But this also felt like the second issue where it was almost just like a standalone issue. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, and we got the introduction of David of the Legion in this issue. And I was trying to wrap my brain around his character. So he doesn't have a body, correct? He's just kind of just floats out there and gets into people's minds. Is that how I read that?
It seems like that's how. Yeah, I would say that's kind of how I interpreted it as well. So I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'm also looking at this and I'm reminded that I this is the same artist I think that did the Sabretooth issue. And I don't like this artist at all. I don't remember who was on the first couple of issues of art.
Was it Capuccio? Alessandro Capuccio?
Possibly. I'm trying to get to the series. But this artist that's come in, I have not been the biggest fan of. So the original artist on the first, I think, 4 issues, Alessandro Capuccio, which I thought was really good. Enjoyed his work. And then now we have Alex Lenz. And it looks blobby. Like, this doesn't look good to me at all. Like, what is this right here? Yeah, I don't know. In some ways this felt like filler, in some ways this felt like setup, and I can't decide how it really falls between those two definitions. And then I would say by the time you do get to the end of the issue, it feels like you've got some momentum kind of as you go into the next arc. And I'm on board with that. But I also feel like I'm losing patience with this book. That I guess the best way to describe it is I keep wanting it to be better than it actually is. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, and it feels like with the concept and what they're doing, it feels like it genuinely should be bigger and better than it is. So, I guess we'll have to see. Chris Condon's writing. If you had asked me a year ago, is Chris Condon a good writer? I would say, hell yeah, he is. And with the likes of the kind of hit or miss here, and then especially Green Arrow, I'd be like, maybe Chris Condon is good with certain people. Because I think this is okay at best. I'm not saying I'd throw it in the dumpster, but I'm not giving it a resounding throw it in the bag either. So, if you've been reading it, you might as well wrap up the arc to get on to the next story. So, let's see what else came out this week. God, Absolute Green Lantern. Sheesh. Drew, did you read it?
I did, and for the life of me, I still
still don't understand how this is ranked so high in the sales charts. I really don't get it.
Okay. I don't either. And there's a couple people at my local comic shop that really love this book. And I
don't get it.
understand what I don't either. But I will say what I have discovered from the people that love this book from my comic shop, they read more manga than anything, and they would probably classify themselves as manga people over like Western comics people. And they don't really know anything about Green Lantern. We just continue to see these characters, in my opinion, presented so out of character that it just doesn't work for me. I feel like the art is terrible. I think this art sucks. This for me is some Eric July levels of art. Maybe a little bit better.
This has been bad. The art going for back as issue 1, just not ready for prime time.
Oh no, at all. And it looks like they're going for that manga influence, but they keep doing this shit too. This whole like blurred background. Why? Like it ends up making your art look so cheap, and amateur, if I'm being honest. But yeah, I think the biggest thing is it's boring. Like we've had this is the 3rd issue, and it's almost been like 2 issues of these two talking it out. And I'm like, get to some action. Like let's see some stuff. Because you got JoJo as Green Lantern, you've got Hal as the Black Hand. And I'm just like, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out where we're going with this, because it doesn't seem like we're going anywhere. This also doesn't feel like it's in the same. I mean, if I'm being honest, I will give the Ultimate Universe credit because I can kind of see how those all work in the same universe. But these Absolute books, none of them feel like they're in the same universe.
No.
Between Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, Flash, Martian Manhunter, they all feel like they're Elseworld titles with all of them taking place on different Earths. And I don't know. I think the line would benefit from having some cohesion, but I don't foresee it happening. But yeah, I gave up on this book. I don't really plan. I mean, I might skim future issues for the sake of the show, but I don't plan on reading it, like fully reading it, because it's just hey, look, it's Majin Buu. He came back.
Yeah, he's back.
Yeah, and we're just killing people right and left. So, but we got another Southern guy with the gun. Oh God, I didn't even notice this the first time, but Alan Scott's Atom Bomb Cafe and Diner. Shut your mouth. Get out of here with that nonsense. Yeah, I am dropping this in the El Dumpstero because not good. I don't know. Here's a question for you. Do you think Al Ewing actually wrote his Hulk series, or do you think someone else was like ghostwriting with him for like the first 24 issues?
I think someone was ghostwriting with him those first 25 issues or so, and then after that, the restrictor plate came off, and he was able to do whatever the hell he wanted to.
Yeah, possibly. I got to pause for a second because we have a DualShock raid coming in. So we got Darth Sud coming in with Hold My DualShock raid. What's up, Hold My DualShock? I love those guys. They're awesome. Thank you for bringing your raid over here. And we got Zach's coming in. And yeah, since you're here, click subscribe, click like, go comment. We'll appreciate it. We're talking about nerd shit, comics specifically, but absolutely. Looking at the comments, we do have Ezekiel coming in with. We've got Bermejo and Delato covers that look great for the upcoming ASM covers. Unfortunately, we have look, I almost feel like Marvel's spending as much on their covers right now as they are for their actual interiors, because they're doing a lot of great covers. You've even got Alex Ross doing a lot of covers, and then just the interior art has been awful for a lot of books. But that's kind of been Marvel's MO lately, so I don't expect we're going to see much difference there. Drewski, is there anything else that you read this week? Because I know we kind of.
I did, but there's nothing really else to talk about. It was a weak sauce week. It was very weak.
Yeah, it's I mean, like a lot of these books we've kind of already given up on, which I'm sad to say, but that's just to say to things like I haven't read Jed McKay's X-Men for I don't know how many issues now. I gave up on it. And I heard some people say that kind of like around like issue 10, they felt like it picked up a little bit, and now it's just kind of become worse than it was even when it started. I know people love Storm. I love Storm as a character. I'm not a fan of the book. And yeah. I will say I did read Batgirl. I'll pull it up. It's doing some interesting things. So I will say I love Cassandra Cain as a character. But I do think she's one of those characters that works better as a supporting character. I don't think she carries her own book as well. Partially by design, like she's meant to be a character that doesn't speak much, and when you don't have her speak much, it's kind of hard to, get behind your main character. But the whole first arc was her on kind of a mission with her mom, Lady Shiva, and this she's actually getting to learn more about Lady Shiva. I like this in concept. Execution not so good, mainly because of this, what you're seeing right here. Oh my gosh, we've got a comic book with our main character eating. Isn't that cute? Don't you want to go do the same thing? When for me, the lore of Lady Shiva, David Kane, Cassandra, I think is far more interesting. Lady Shiva's a freaking supposed to be the greatest assassin in the DC universe. And her history is pretty muddled. It's not well known. So kind of take that concept. Could be fun to explore, but not with this bullshit. Like I don't know. So it's one of those things where I'm torn. There are aspects of this that I love. They get into how she met David Kane, which is interesting. But this is one of those books that I want to like more than I do. I do not like the art switch. I will say that. I wish they had the original artist still that was on the book, but like these moments aren't as bad. And I just wish we could kind of get back to what we were getting in the early 2000s when Cassandra got introduced in No Man's Land, and even some of the stuff that was explored in her own titles following that story. But it's not awful. It's not great. It's miles better than what the Batgirls book was. And you do get good action from time to time, but who's this artist? Isaac Goodhart, for me, was not a good fit visually for this book. But they're trying to do something halfway decent here, and I'll give them some credit for that. But they're gonna have to pick things up a little bit. I think that's honestly most of it. I'm behind on JSA. I need to get caught up. Are you still reading JSA, Drew?
I stopped after they killed Ted Grant. I gave it up.
That was kind of my stopping point too. And I'm not gonna say I got mad, but I'm just like Ted Grant's one of those characters that I always enjoy reading. So for me, it's a good motivator to pick up and read a comic and then go from there. I will say I haven't had the chance to read Resurrection Man yet either, but it is on my list.
It's a not a fun read. I'll say that.
Oh no! I forget? You didn't like issue 2 as much, correct?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I didn't mind issue 2 as much. I didn't dislike it as much as you did, but I did feel like it was a step down. So I'll have to see where we go from there. But yeah, I think for me coming out of the weekend and then trying to like jump back into work. I mean, work's been pretty chaotic for me, and I know you're getting busy. So I think this week is going to end up being a softer week for us just because there's so much shit going on. I purposely didn't read Secret Six. I've heard G.I. Joe is great, so I need to read it.
Really good. Really good.
Yeah. So that is one that I need to jump on and check out before all is said and done. But yeah, I think this week is going to be one of those lighter weeks for us, and we will have to pick things up for next week. But any final things you want to say as far as this week's comics go?
No, not really. Hoping next one's better.
Okay. Well, yeah, we'll cross our fingers. And maybe there's a lot of new books that came out this week from indie publishers that I've got to pick up and read. I just have not gotten to them yet. And part of this is my own fault that the first freaking thing I read was DC Pride. And that ruined my day. Like, I'm gonna be honest. I wanted to swear off comics after that. But I will say we have a busy weekend ahead of us. So tomorrow night, Drewski, we are launching Unholy Nightmare issue 2 on Wes's channel. So it's starting. What time is that starting again?
8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're gonna have an awesome group. Oh, okay, Ezekiel. Yes, someone else was actually telling me about Pop Kill. And then I need to pick up that 7 Years of Darkness. But Pop Kill, I think issue 2 came out, and I'm hearing really good, fun stuff about it. So I need to check it out. But yes, Unholy Nightmare number 2 Kickstarter launch campaign. We're going to launch things off on Wes's channel, Thinking Critical, tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to have Aaron. We're going to have Drew. I will be there, and there will be other people as well. I know our Tism buddy, Mr. Maxwell Von Priestley, plans on popping in for a bit, and we might have some of the other talent joining us. Is that correct, Drew?
Yeah, quite possibly. Yeah.
Quite possibly, yes. So it's gonna be a good time. We're gonna talk about things. I believe Drew still plans on showing one interior page from the backup series, which I cannot wait for you guys to see. And then I'm sure he'll have covers and everything else to showcase. So all the goodies that come along with the campaign we'll be discussing. We'll be discussing some of the story, maybe where things go from issue 1 if you've read issue 1. And then for people that didn't back or purchase issue 1, is there going to be an option for them to get that with this issue?
100%. Yes, it's going to be on there.
Hell yeah. And on top of that, not to get ahead of things, but I believe y'all have already started art for issue 3.
Yes, we have. Yeah, Aurelia's already finished storyboards. He just finished page 1. He's working on page 2 now.
Absolutely. So looking forward to it. It's a lot of fun. I'm excited. I've read the issue. And I can't wait to get it going, talk about it, and then if the book's gonna end up being in people's hands before we know it. So it's gonna be a fun night tomorrow night. Come ready to celebrate. I'm gonna have maybe a celebration drink as we kick things off. And then Saturday morning, I will be on Comics Aficionados with Aaron. Are you doing Saturday morning or no?
Yeah, I should be there if not a few minutes late.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I know it's gonna be quite the turnaround from the launch to that, but it'll be a lot of fun. We're gonna have more people on Comics Aficionados than we've ever had. So I think he's pulling out full 9 to 10 people. There's gonna be new people that have never been on Thinking Critical that Aaron's bringing on, and we're gonna talk a little bit about our time at Dallas Fan Expo. We're gonna show some pictures. I'm sure we will discuss Drew's book and the fact that it has launched. And then, of course, we will have our normal topics. So come hang out with us, birthday party clowns. Then, and since we're doing the launch stream tomorrow night, Saturday night, I believe Max is having comic book conversations. I think. Well, don't quote me on that. So it's going to be a busy weekend. I'm gonna be streaming it like nobody's business and trying to watch WWE in between because we have two premium events on Saturday for whatever reason. But yeah, it's gonna be a good time. Let us know what we need to read. Let us know what we missed, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow night as we kick off Unholy Nightmare number 2. It's gonna be a grand old time. And I guess we should just go ahead and oh no, dang it. Hold on. I thought I had it in here, but I forget that this thing always like goes away because it's a jerk. So we're gonna play the trailer and then we're gonna call it a night.
Sounds good.
Streets of Chicago, a mysterious masked hero fights against the forces of evil.
He is the recluse and has a secret ally, a cop who goes undercover in the criminal underworld. Together, they face a deadly new threat, a drug that turns humans into monstrous creatures as they try to stop the drug trade. They discover a hidden realm of horrors that will test their courage and loyalty. Will they survive? The Unholy Nightmare. From the creators of the hit comic book series Born of Blood, Aurelio Mazzara and Dolan Waddick, comes a new action-packed adventure that will take you to the edge of your seat. Enter a world where superheroes and monsters collide and nothing is what it seems. Don't miss Unholy Nightmare 2, the comic book event of the year.
You're muted, Josh.
I'm just talking to myself over here. Well, you missed my hell yeah at the end of that video, but yeah. Super excited for tomorrow night. It's going to be a lot of fun. Like I said, it's going to be a busy weekend for us. So make sure you come hang out all weekend at Wes's, potentially Saturday night with Max. And we will see you guys tomorrow night as we kick things off with Unholy Nightmare #2, launching of the Kickstarter. So see you guys there. Thank you again for coming and tuning in. I always appreciate it. Sorry it's a bit of a slow night for us. I promise we'll be back to form next week. And yeah, until then, have fun and get a little floppy.
Get the fuck out!